All right, so here comes, let me see that. Okay, back to my little message about her. Okay, so we know that our content can easily get lost in the scroll, but we want you to be able to cut through that noise of social media and make real connections there. So in this session, Angela will help us she'll discover and tell us how to do it, the storytelling principles that transform an ordinary social media post into an engagement magnet. Using real LinkedIn examples, we'll explore how making your audience the hero instead of you changes everything about your content. You will see practical before and after examples and leave with a simple framework you can apply immediately to any social platform. A little bit more about Angela then. Most business owners mix random marketing elements hoping for results, but watch their story get lost in the noise. As a chief marketing chemist and founder of the Marketing Apothecary and a StoryBrand certified expert, Angela provides the formula that these business owners are missing. With over 17 years of experience and the proven StoryBrand framework going for her, Angela helps businesses to clarify their message and then create marketing that actually converts. Her process transforms scattered efforts into strategic roadmaps that captivate customers and drive growth. When she's not crafting marketing strategies in her lab, Angela can be found sharing insights like she is today about the power of strategic storytelling to transform businesses from the inside out. Ooh, what an excellent introduction. So, and written by her, which it should be. If you're going to give a talk, make up an excellent introduction and people just will just be on the edge of their seats. Okay, go for it, Angela.
Well, thank you for the very kind introduction. It's wonderful to see all of you guys today. It's fun having, people outside of Colorado. I too here am in the Denver area. I'm in Lakewood. So know we're touching some of the suburbs here. So let me share my screen. Make sure I've got everything set up. All right. Let's get that full screen. Perfect. Okay, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I always like to double check because, sometimes Zoom has a mind of its own. So beautiful. I'm so happy to see you all. I did laugh at Jonathan when he said good morning because I was like running through this before and I was like, good morning. I mean afternoon. So you're not alone. We're all here to talk about storytelling and social media. Social media sometimes makes people cringe, not Joyce because she's magical, but it's a tough place. So let's think about it. If I had to ask you, like, how many of you have posted something on social media in the past and been like, oh, this is my post, I'm super excited. And then you get it out there and then crickets and nobody engages, you don't get any comments, and you're like, man, I worked so hard on that post and no one said anything. You're not alone. And that's okay. Because it's happened to every single one of us. But today we're going to work on a process and a formula for you to fix that. My goal is that by the end of our time together today, you're going to leave here with a simple framework that transforms your content from noise to genuine connections. And stick around, there might be a fun little freebie just for you at the end. So let's face it, we are all on information overload. Who can relate to me on this? They say there are over 3,000 messages bombarding us every day. I mean, think about it. How many windows do you have open on your computer? How many different emails? How many chats? How many apps do you have to speak with your clients, your other business professionals? It's just constant. I feel like sometimes like when I forget to turn off my sound, I'm like, oh my God, it's like ding, 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 ding. So it's crazy. We are bombarded with messages. And when we think about social media too, we're bombarded there as well. We see hundreds of LinkedIn posts, Facebook updates, countless messages. And when we're business owners and we're trying to create content, how are we going to cut through that? How are we going to beat that scroll and make sure that someone can see what we're talking about? So I want to pop a question in the chat. Let me make sure I can see the chat. I will move that over here. But I would love to just get some feedback from you guys. Like, let's be honest here. Social media, like I said, is not easy. If you had to name what your biggest challenge was with social media right now, what would you say it is? Anyone that's open to share, I'd love for you to drop that in the chat. Perfect. Okay, we've got no responses, a lot of effort for no return. Yep, feel you on that. Yep, coming up with ideas. Yeah, that's hard. Like, I mean, no one in here said, "Hey, I'm so and so. I'm a social media expert," or "Hey, I'm a content creator and that's all I do every day." So we're wearing all these hats in our business, and we still need to show up online and come up with all this content. So it's a tricky place to be. Oops, whoops. Don't mind my extra clicking. So let me tell you something I discovered recently. And well, after many years, I shouldn't say recently, of really helping businesses with their marketing. And the solution to getting your content noticed is not posting more. And I absolutely guarantee you that you are bombarded in those thousands of messages by people telling you post more, create more content, show more consistently. I heard someone once tell me that they were posting 5 times a day on LinkedIn, and I went, whoa. Do you have a clone or what's happening? And that's not realistic. And let's be honest, with today's algorithms, you're kind of spinning your wheels. You might be putting out a lot of content. That doesn't mean it's valuable, and that doesn't mean it's connecting with your audience. There's a simple shift that you can use when it comes to creating content that's really going to make a difference for your business, and that is storytelling. I have seen this work for so many businesses, and I can speak to this directly for myself. It doesn't matter whether you're in insurance, you're in recruiting, you're in a legal space. Storytelling is a way to create connections. But before we figure out how to make that shift, we all make a fatal mistake. Not always, but it happens. Let's be honest. We want to be the hero of every single post. People want to show all their credentials. They want to show all their experience. They want to tell the world how great they are. Because let's be real, we work hard to get where we are, right? And so it's only natural that we want to share. The problem is when it comes to connecting with our customers, when we're the hero and they're not, they don't really want to listen anymore. Like they're just like, yeah, gosh, we've all been at those networking events where someone's like, wah, 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 talking and talking about themselves. And the same goes for social media. When we're looking at your content and on you've got lots of things like on companies. Oh, we're so excited to announce. Oh, I'm so proud to share. Oh, let me tell you what our company just did. Oh, and for sure I have done. I've been working on this. And if these sound familiar, that's okay. But these are the types of phrases that we use when we create content on social media that kind of makes people tune out. So we want to help you stop that. So let's just do one more quick poll. True or false? Your last LinkedIn post was mostly about you, your company, or your achievements. If you're brave enough to share, this is a judgment-free zone. Let's be honest, it happens. Okay, I see some truths. Thank you all for your total honesty because we can find a solution. We can make a small flip to that script that you're using and change that so that you can still share these amazing stories, these incredible things that you do with just a little bit of a tweak. So that tweak is called storytelling. Here is a shift that you can make in your content creation that is really going to make a difference. Stories have been around for thousands of years, and it's such an impactful way to really share information, get people excited, lean in. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the StoryBrand framework. It was an absolute eye-opener for me in my profession and in my business and my career because it was a really simple way to say, whoa, we are telling the wrong story. And even though it means so much to our company and our owners that we were founded in 1929 and our second generation of the family was still running the business, that was not the way to share that story. But there is a place to tell your narrative, and that is called the guide. So I want you guys to think, I'm going to give you some cheesy movie references depending on your genres. Think about it. Star Wars fans, maybe not so many on this call, but Luke Skywalker, he's the hero of the story. Obi-Wan, he's the guide. Frodo, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, Frodo is the hero. Think about the struggles, the strifes, the challenges that Frodo goes through. That's a hero. A hero has a problem. They need help. They need transformation. Frodo needs Gandalf. Gandalf is the guide. Gandalf has empathy. He shows authority and he offers a plan. Think about it. You know, the hero, excuse me, tends to be a weak character. They have a problem. They need help. You, as the guide, are the expert. You are the authority. And when we shift that framing so that we come in as a guide, that is where true transformation happens. Now, I know you might be going, okay, Angela, but you're in marketing and you do strategy and you do all these other things like that's for websites. No, storytelling is so impactful and it's a very powerful way to transform your social media content. Now, I know Joyce gave me a very kind introduction that she read from me. So it feels a little funny when you have someone read that, but I'm with you all. I'll be honest, I'll throw myself on the sword. I've made plenty of social media mistakes in my time. Like I said, our last company, we love to tell our story, but we fixed it. When I discovered the power of story driven marketing, the content I was creating, the words that I was using transformed. I didn't start this yesterday. As Joy said, somehow it's been 17 years. I'm certified in StoryBrand because I truly believe and I know that it can transform the conversations that we have about our business. I've helped many business owners create a clear message. And I'll be honest, I transformed my own LinkedIn page from crickets to connections. So I have been in your shoes and I truly get it. And I want to show you the framework of how I transformed my social media content on LinkedIn, as well as some of my clients. So let's make it real because me talking, doesn't always, hit the mark. Let's give you some examples. So I'm going to give you some personal examples, kind of, me posting on a personal page, not me per se. Then also some company examples, because again, that's how we make it real. So who's made a post that's somewhere along the lines of this? I'm excited to share that I just completed my CPA certification. This intensive program taught me so much about tax strategy, and I can't wait to help my clients save money on their taxes. I'm guessing I'm not the only one who in the past posted something like that. What if instead you took the role of the guide? What if instead your customer was the hero? And we think about the problem that we solve because we can solve with this new certification. So what if instead we said something like this? Worried you're paying too much in taxes this year? You're not alone. Many business owners miss deductions that could save them thousands. Here's a simple strategy that's helping my clients keep more of what they earn. And then you can pull in your certification. So again, we don't need to lead with that. We need to lead with the problem that our customers are facing. I'll just give you a quick business example. So if someone's got content they're creating for like a company page, Again, law firm example, our law firm has been serving clients for 15 years. We're proud of our successful case outcomes and our experienced legal team. I mean, I don't even want to read anymore. That's kind of boring. So I see some nods. What if instead you said something like facing a legal issue that could devastate your business? You're not alone. Every business owner fears the lawsuit or contract dispute that can ruin everything they've built. Imagine writing content like that. Like there's a feeling that I don't know, I feel like you can just sense when you create content that is really putting your customer as the hero. So let's make it real. I'm all about frameworks. I'm all about formulas, hence the marketing apothecary. So I want to give you a simple framework to use for your next social media posts and beyond. Creating posts like this will help drive engagement. And it's just a different way to think about when you're going to write a new post and you're filling in that content calendar. Wait a minute, where do I start? This is a fantastic formula to use because let's face it, we can all relate to problems. When you start talking about your problems, like you can quickly start a bonfire of a conversation. And it's the same when you think about your LinkedIn posts or your any other social media platforms. Lean into those problems. What are your clients coming to you saying, I'm really wrestling with this. I had no idea that this was an issue in my business. And can you help me? I'm really struggling with X. We have heard our customers say those words. Our customers are telling us what problems that they are wrestling with. And those problems are absolute gold when it comes to thinking about content for your social media channels. So think of step one. What is a problem your audience has? Think about number two, how do you understand their frustration? When we show that we understand our clients' struggles and frustrations, we're showing them empathy. We understand what they're wrestling with. We've been in their shoes. It's a really powerful connection. Number three is why should they trust you? I mean, again, there's lots of us doing the same thing. We've got to find a way to build that trust and sort of stand out. And this is where you can really start to talk about yourself a little and your expertise, but it's not your lead in. Again, that's what the failure is we tend to lead with why they should trust us. Leave it towards the bottom. And lastly, what is the next step? If you've created a really amazing social media post and you are like can't wait to get it up, make sure that you go to the very bottom and think, do I have a call to action? What do I want someone to do when I've just created this amazing piece of content? It's really important, like ask for feedback, ask for examples, book a call, join a webinar. Again, if we don't ask, we don't get. And the same goes true for your social media posts. So just make sure that you think about those driving pieces in your content that help them know what to do, excuse me, I can't talk, help them know what to do next. Those simple steps and that framework will really transform your content on social media. Now, I just want to give you a quick example. One of my clients is a boutique recruiter. So she's got to cut through the noise on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is prime for recruiting and people sending spammy messages. And like a lot of business owners, when she was really starting to grow her business, she was like, I can't write all this content. I'm going to outsource it. Totally fine. The problem was she was outsourcing generic content that was going to a whole crew of air quotes recruiters. And it was fine because she showed up, but it really didn't drive anything. People were engaging. Her page was barely growing. It was just kind of sitting there. And so part of what we did is we really worked together to transform her entire content strategy for her business. Now this expands beyond LinkedIn, but our focus for her business in terms of social is LinkedIn. We've created more story-driven posts. We've generated consistent growth year over year. And we are regularly driving her at least 5 new qualified leads per month that she can get into her business to help grow her revenue, her client success, and her candidate success, because she's all about being a matchmaker in her business. And one little secret, this past year, we've shifted gears and we've also started creating content on her personal page. She has over a 90% growth in her impressions since January. So we are putting out content and people are listening and people are engaged. And what happened was we moved away from the generic. We stopped just talking about services and we really focused on those customer problems and those transformations. And it has made a huge difference in her business. And I'm so confident that this formula can do the same for you if you take the time to put it into place. The other thing I want to highlight for you guys today is what I'm sharing with you, this formula does not have to be just for your posts. You can actually use this formula on your About section as well. Our About section on LinkedIn is such a gold mine, and we do the same thing. We get really caught up in, I have so much experience, I've done all these things, look at me, here's my credentials. Stop doing that. That is telling our story, and that's taking what I would like to call the old resume style approach to our LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn is a way to tell our story and in a way that we are the guide. So think about what you've done and helped someone overcome in your business and have that in your About section. So again, lead with a problem in your About section. Not, I have 15 years of experience in marketing. Think about, does your marketing feel like you're shouting in the void? You're not alone. Now, that's a little bit more of a hook that I want to read than how much experience I have. So start with the problem, show empathy and authority. That's your guide section. That's where you talk about you. Paint a vision of success. This is a really powerful step in our About section. Again, think about what are steps someone works with you? What does success look like? Again, that next step. Think about that really visual language that you can use in your About section to, again, bring your own story to life in a way that clients want to work with you. Here's just a few other ideas of content just to kind of put this into practice and give you some other sort of story-driven thought starters for your content. So think about, when I'm going to create content for my LinkedIn page, what can I write about that, again, is that problem solution? Like, is there something you're struggling with? Is there an issue that you helped a client solve? Problem, how do you solve it? The second one is transformation. We love transformation. Everyone loves to hear someone achieved something great or delivered this huge result. So what can you do in your business? Like, 6 months ago, my client was X. When this client came to me, she was nearly XYZ. So think about those transformation stories. Those are really powerful hooks. Behind the scenes, again, share your secret sauce. Give people a peek behind the curtain. Here's what you learned from a client call. Like, share that behind the scenes that you're doing. The other ones are myth busting and case studies. Again, myth busting. I hear so often that XYZ or everyone thinks. So case studies. Again, these are just to show you some really practical ways that you can just use to create content for social media in a way that's going to generate that engagement that you really are looking for. Because let's be honest, social media is a lot of work. It takes lots of our precious time. And these tools are really designed to help shortcut that and not help, so you're not looking at the screen and staring at that blinking cursor and going, what do I write today? Use those as your thought starters. So here are a couple quick wins that you can implement today. Review your last 5 posts. Think about how many times you're saying I versus you, or even we. That's another really beneficial tip to use on your website. Go to your website, look at your homepage. If your homepage is covered with the word I, we need to chat. Let's chat. We can fix that. We can flip that script so it's less about you and more about your customers. Again, start creating posts that lead with your clients' problems. Those are absolute gold. We all solve lots of problems, even though we typically lean into one. Here's your opportunity to talk about all those problems that you can solve. Share client wins. Again, client testimonials, reviews, things that you've helped them overcome, of course, with their permission that position them as a hero. And end with clear next steps. Remember, when you go and create those social media posts, what is that call to action? What do you want someone to do? Ask for it. That will drive the engagement and the connection you're looking for. So let's be real. The bottom line when it comes to social media is that you need to create content that really shifts the narrative. You want your clients to be the hero of everything that you're creating because they will see themselves in your story. They will trust you as their guide. They will take action on your advice and they will become your biggest advocates. People who know, like, and trust you, as we all know, are absolute gold. But to win people over on social media, you need to make sure that you can show you care about them and that you truly understand their problems and that you have a solution for them. So speaking of plans, of course, I want to make sure that this has been valuable for you guys. So I've created a little freebie for you guys. It is the story-driven content guide for social media. So yes, that QR code is scannable. It does work. If not, let Joyce know. We'll make sure that you do get this resource. It's going to give you the framework that I talked about today, some templates and examples, and it has a little bonus on repurposing strategies because let me tell you, your clients, as much as we want to think, well, I said that once, they definitely heard it. No, they did not. So repurposing is your friend. Number two, I want you to use this guide. So look at your past posts, look at new posts. This is a tool for you to use moving forward. And best of all, step three, I want you to watch your stories connect and I want you to amplify your social media impact because really genuine content that positions yourself as the guide is going to build those relationships that you're looking for with your clients. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have enjoyed today. Again, my goal is to make sure that you see that there's a framework that you can apply to content creation for not only your LinkedIn posts, but your about section that's truly going to transform the conversations that you have with your clients and stop making you feel like your posts are getting lost in the noise. So I will turn it over to you guys if you have any questions. We'll do that. I'll pop this up just so you guys can see it for a minute. Obviously, again, that QR code, if you'd like to download the guide I put together for you. You can also hop on my email list directly. I do send out a weekly email. It's full of fun tips and tricks from a marketing perspective and things that you can immediately implement that week in your business. So thank you all, and I'll see if anyone has any questions.
Feel free to jump in, anybody.
That
Ready to-
was great. I would love for you to go back to that content idea slide because I know there was like something that I missed at the end. I was writing things down.
Here, sure. Let me share my screen again. And I believe that's in the guide too. So let me
Okay.
just, but if not, I'm happy to share this. I'm happy to share this presentation. So that's totally fine.
I have a question, Angela.
Yeah.
So, in my line of work at the feng shui world, there are many different schools of feng shui,
Okay.
and some are considered more effective than others.
Okay.
But we don't say that in a public setting because we don't want clients to feel that if they're not using a certain form of feng shui that they're somehow being shortchanged because all methods are effective. But I'm wondering when you say like why should people trust you? and I've got the certification in the two different types, well, in two different types. Like, do I risk that? You know, do I say, why should you trust me? Well, because I know this and that, or like, how do
Mhm.
you promote yourself without, damaging or being snarky towards anybody else? Because that's not helpful to anybody.
Yeah, yeah, no, thank you. That's a great question. And I think the best way to demonstrate trust and your authority and expertise again goes back to that, the problems that you've solved. And so if you think about those things that your clients were facing, those issues that they were like, they came to you and they're like, oh, Catherine, I'm having such a hard time with X, or this is going on in my space. Like, what do I do? So think about those problems and those examples, and then what you came in and did, and the transformation and the success your
Okay.
clients felt,
Yeah.
because that's a way to really build trust. It doesn't have to be like, I'm certified in this and not this, and mine's
Right.
better. It's more about just showing that problem that you've solved and the successful result you've delivered with what you can do. That's kind of where I would just encourage you to use that type of format. And that's where you'll build that trust really easily. And you won't have to say, I'm the best or this framework is
Right.
better, because people will see that and they'll,
Yeah.
oh, I've had that issue and I really want to have that result.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. That makes a lot of sense too. So
Yep.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I'll stop sharing so I can see people a little better.
These are great ideas.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, content's a ton of work. So
Yeah.
anything that we can get that's sort of a shortcut to that, is really beneficial. And I think, one of the other things I always encourage people to do is just, like I said, you'll hear from a lot of people like you need to be posting this, post more, post consistently, da da da. Da. My encouragement is post consistently. So
Mhm.
create a schedule for yourself that you can regularly use and just follow that. If it's twice a week, post twice a week at the same time. If it's 3 times a week, post 3 times a week at the same time. If you do stuff like that, you can then start to see in your analytics, hey, this is a good time of day. My people are here. Maybe no one's commenting. Look at your sort of time of day again. But just never overcommit yourself on social media, because it can be a rabbit hole. And so if we're thinking about creating content that truly educates our clients and builds value and helps them show that we're great, you don't need to post that 10 times a day. You just need to
Yeah.
post it
Even
consistently
once a
so that
week.
when people go look at your pages, they're
Yeah.
like, hey, I had this amazing meeting with Catherine, and whoa, I went to her LinkedIn page and her about section was like, it just reiterated the conversation we had. I'm looking through her posts, like I'm seeing a trend here. So that's
Mhm.
where there's real value in creating content that creates genuine connections too.
So Jonathan had his hand up, but I was
Oh
thinking
yeah,
even
sorry. Go ahead.
once a week for someone who's hardly ever posted, even
Yeah,
once a week, twice a month,
exactly.
just something kind of dip your toe in. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
yeah.
Just to dovetail on Angela's wisdom there, um, there's a great joke. What do you call the guy who passed medical school with the lowest grade possible?
Doctor.
Doctor.
Oh.
That that to some
Yeah.
people and some things, certifications and honors and such mean something, and everybody else, they just want to know that you can transform them in the way that you do.
Mhm.
And this is what Angela was saying about it. Tell them how you think, tell them what you do, show them what the transaction is like,
Yeah.
the transformation is like, so they can project themselves into that.
Mhm.
If they're remotely into what you do, then they want to know more. And that's
Mhm.
what all of these things are about. Tell them what they want to know, but in your voice.
Yeah.
And uh, scheduling these things can be a problem, but all of these platforms have schedulers.
Yeah,
So when you're sitting on your porch writing out your stuff, you can schedule them out so that you don't have to then say, oh, it's Tuesday, I'm supposed to post.
yeah,
Use those systems to your benefit. Otherwise, it does become daunting.
totally.
And that scheduling tool is actually relatively recent on LinkedIn. They were slow, late to the game on that.
They were slow, and it's, that's the other trick too, is just, and Joyce would know this just as well as anyone, find your platform that your people are on, and just be mindful of like where you need to show up, how you need to show up, and that sort of consistency, because the algorithms are always changing. It's a job in and of itself to keep up with those things. So again, that's where just like showing up and that consistency and being sort of laser focused on your platforms can help. If you're trying to find all the algorithms on all the platforms, like you're gonna also be spinning your wheels there. So, Catherine.
I wanted to know if you think if there are better days to post than others, or is it something that you have to just try and check your analytics?
Yeah, a bit of both, honestly. Like for LinkedIn in particular, obviously, sort of the beginning of the week tends to be a little bit stronger. Joyce can probably comment on this too. Fridays aren't the best time to post. You want to post early. Typically, Fridays you want to be a little bit more lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
Weekends like Saturday, Sunday actually can be good times to post. Sometimes people are still on LinkedIn. But sort of earlier in the week tends to be better. It just does depend. Some of the industries, depending on where you are, there is a little bit more research as to like different times of day, times of the week that,
Yeah.
we could sort of go a little more granular on. And like I said, Joyce might have a bit more inside scoop on that too.
That was all good, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, realize half the country's on Eastern time.
Yeah.
So do you have any thoughts about time of day?
Yeah. Typically what I find is like Thursday, like late afternoon tends to be good. Fridays, early morning. Monday through Wednesday is sort of a little bit of a grab bag. They sort of say like early morning, you kind of go in cycles. They kind of have some times per industry, that like 8 to 10 window, that like 12 to 2 window, that like 4 to 6 window. So they sort of have some windows that they typically suggest. LinkedIn is actually pretty good about sharing some of that information and data, but to your comment, Catherine, like check your analytics. That's the thing. Like if you can only post twice a week, post twice a week at the same time on each of those days and
Mm-hmm.
give it a couple weeks and then look at your analytics. And if they're not getting traction, you want to go back to like, what's the type of language I'm using? Like, who am I trying to reach? Maybe like midday is not the day to reach my people. Maybe it's like 9 a.m. So,
Yeah.
you can do a little bit of work, but just give yourself a little bit of runway so that you can kind of see what's working with your audience.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cindy. We have time for probably one more question after Cindy. Go ahead,
I
Cindy.
can't find the hands up on Zoom, so excuse
I
my
struggle with that too, Cindy. You're not alone.
Okay,
It's
so
in
I
the
just have a
React section.
question because I'm LinkedIn pretty much only. How do
Okay.
you feel about all these personal posts on LinkedIn? Sometimes it's like a clutter of stuff that I don't know. Is that part of this letting people know you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I typically recommend for my clients is, this is kind of going a little more granular than what we did today. But think of the content you put out in sort of buckets or categories. And whether it's 3, whether it's 5, I think going beyond that's a little bit of an overkill. But, you want to think about your content in buckets and sort of work through that in cycles. The personal content, again, written in the right language, can be super beneficial. And in fact, I've typically found with the clients I've worked with, those tend to be the most engaging posts because people just really, to your comment, they want to see the real you. Like we're all human. And sometimes we try to put on a little bit of a facade online. And so I think there is a lot of value to those personal posts. And I've seen it get a ton of traction both on my page and clients' pages written in the right format.
Yeah,
So
and
I
then
think
I
that's
tried to build on that, Angela.
yeah,
I
please.
try to build a lesson or an observation that goes beyond the event
Right.
and make it bigger. When I broke my wrist in June of 2021, I posted about 3 or 4 times over almost 2 months. And for example, when I got to drive again after 6 weeks, I was me. My daughter took a picture of me at the wheel, like, big deal, you're driving. Yeah, it was a big deal. And I still have people saying, how was your wrist?
Yeah.
So those posts got so much. Or even the one just for fun, I say my birthday's near Christmas. I never make a big deal. This year, I think I will. Make a big deal of yourself. And there I am with my Mrs. Santa dress. Some of you have seen this in real
It's a
life.
fabulous dress.
And my cake, my birthday cake with the 7-3 on it. And like well over 20,000 views of that post.
Oh, wow.
So
But
so
what
that's
if
just, I
it's,
mean, I do that like maybe once a quarter.
Yeah.
Right?
but what if it's
Not
another
often.
photo of you with your busties having lunch? Because there's a lot of just pure Facebookification going on. Oh boy,
But there's
she's
two,
out.
right? It's
She's
right.
out looking for
Yes.
her new wedding dress. I don't see what that has anything to do with her as a professional.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, when it's just sort of gratifying, like here I am, like almost like
Yeah.
Instagram-ish. Yes, good point.
Yeah, and I think Joyce made the best point there of just bringing it back into a lesson or a business scenario, because Jonathan, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of Facebooking style content, especially on LinkedIn these days. Keep in mind, LinkedIn is for professionals. People are wanting to have professional conversations, and we're all real. So just kind of think about too how you can wrap that in sort of a lesson or a connection, just not like, hey, look at me. There's other platforms for that.
Right.
Except for
So
Laura,
one thing I
she's
want
turned
to
into
put
a
in
cat.
is we're getting close to the end of our hour, is next month, September 9th, getting my date straight. We have Michelle Welburn talking about social media design principles.
Oh,
And it's really going to be great. She'll be talking a little bit about Canva, but she's a graphic artist, specialized in visual communication strategy. So yeah, she'll be a lot of fun. I've seen her give this presentation. I think you might have been there, Jonathan, for the Preferred Business Network. Yeah, so she does a lovely job. So, and in October, we're going to have a speaker on YouTube Shorts, something I've done once, but I want to do more of them because they could be very powerful. But you got to be strategic about it too. So, yeah. Oh, and Rich Hopkins is going to speak in November on something to do with professional speaking. So he's a speaking coach and someone that Jonathan knows as well as me. So that's I think I got an opening only in December, but I'm not usually scheduled out this far, so yay me. So thanks, Angela. Let's big round of applause for Angela, yay. And thank you so much, and do reach out. Let me know if you need the chat. I will. Is it okay for you? Are you all right to share the slide deck, or how is that
oh
all
yeah,
right?
I don't mind sharing the slide deck. And like I said, make sure you guys scan that QR code, and
Yes.
there's the more
Yeah.
detailed freebie that you can
Right.
use just to
Okay.
give you a little extra guide too. So yeah, I'll email that to you, Joyce.
Thank you, dear. Yeah, thank you.